Hi friends. Welcome to all our friends for the session today. I will just wait a minute or so. Quite a few of our friends are still joining in. We'll start the session immediately. Yeah, without wasting any further time, let's get started with the session. So, if you see, today we have witnessed a decent pullback in the market post the initial opening. Starting में अगर देखा जाए market में pressure था first half an hour में. The index that is Nifty slid towards the levels of 25,000, 450, 460 levels. And from there, we have witnessed a decent recovery in the market of almost 80 points. Bounce has come back. So today we are discussing कि आज एक्सपायरी है निफ्टी का. सो विल द इंडेक्स डिफेंड द psychological mark of 25,500. If we see the option chain data, there is significant put writing in that particular strike price. तो इसी के कारण भले ही इंडेक्स एक 30-40 पॉइंट टू साइकोलॉजिकल नीचे लेवल्स के नीचे चला गया, but still the bulls came in to defend a crucial mark, and we have witnessed a decent pullback in the market. We believe that in trade today, there is a good chance that the index will continue to hold this particular level, that is the mark of 25,500, and continue to trend with a slight flat to medium positive bias. There is a good chance that we could see further short covering, which may come about, especially in the second half of the session. So all the frontline counters have witnessed a decent pullback in the market, and the index, which is once again propelling the markets higher today, is the IT index. तो लगातार तीसरे दिन we have seen a good pullback in the market. See, Friday the index hit a low and then witnessed a pullback. Yesterday we witnessed a decent rally in the index, mainly due to Infosys and HCL Tech. Today HCL Tech is once again leading the charge among the frontline IT counters, as well as the likes of Infosys and TCS as well. So we'll just quickly have a look at the charts of all the frontline counters from the IT space. That's the main sector, क्योंकि आज अगर देखा जाए वापस बैंकिंग स्टॉक में फिर भी अभी भी प्रेशर है. It is clearly only this particular sector which is driving the index on the upside. So HCL Tech का chart अगर देखा जाए, it's clearly one of the most strongest among all its peers and is witnessing a decent move on the upside. So this is one stock which is relatively outperforming as well within the IT pack, and we believe that there is good momentum in this particular counter, which is a heavyweight counter within the IT index. दूसरे सेक्टर जो आईटी इंडेक्स को मींस इट इज विच इज आई मींस हेल्पिंग द मार्केट टू अ लार्ज एक्सटेंट इज निफ्टी ऑटो. निफ्टी ऑटो में भी तीसरा दिन है जिसमें एक डिसेंट पुल बैक देखने को मिल रहा है. एंड इफ यू सी द ओवरऑल चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर फॉर द ऑटो इंडेक्स, इट इज स्टिल ट्रेडिंग क्लोज टू इट्स लाइफ टाइम हाइज. सो 2000 27,725 लाइफ टाइम हाई ऑटो इंडेक्स का. करंटली वी आर एट 26,970 980 levels. So there is a good chance that we could build up on this momentum that we have seen in the last 3 trading sessions, and gradually we could see the auto index once again move towards a fresh lifetime high from the current juncture. So, like I mentioned, it's clearly the frontline counters which are witnessing movement today. अगर मिड कैप और स्मॉल कैप इंडेक्सेस के बारे में बात करें तो उसमें कुछ आज ज़्यादा मूवमेंट देखने को नहीं मिल रहा है. We have relatively been flat for a major part of the day today in both the mid cap and the small cap index. So, this is the small cap index currently. We are once again at the crucial support zone, the breakout point that we had witnessed, and we are witnessing a consolidation. But gradually, once the expiry is over tomorrow today, we could see momentum built up gradually happening in the mid cap and the small cap space. Generally, we see that many times ये देखने को मिलता है जब भी एक्सपायरी रहता है निफ्टी या सेंसेक्स का. It is the frontline counters which witness sharp moves. The mid cap and the small cap indices generally tend to be relatively sideways for a major part of the day. And that's what we are witnessing today as well. Nifty mid cap is up 0.08%. Nifty small cap is down 0.26% at the current juncture. Some of the other sectors which are propelling the markets higher, if you see, is we have seen a bit of pullback which had come in the metal space as well. There has been a bit of cool off today, but nonetheless, the metal index is one sector to track definitely from a medium term perspective. There is a good chance that once we had tested this breakout zone, so clearly this is the breakout zone. A long term consolidation breakout had happened in the metal index, and we that was almost the previous time we had come towards the 10,000 mark was on 24th of May to 2024, and almost after 2.5 years we have seen a decent breakout in the metal index. So there is a good chance that post testing the breakout zone we may continue the positive momentum on the upside. So if you take the target per se, it comes significantly higher. That comes almost closer towards 12,000, but that's a 8 to 12 month view on the particular sector that we hold. That's the size of the cup that has been formed, and metal stocks are doing relatively well. The results also are coming quite good for some of the metal stocks. So from a longer term perspective, we have an extremely positive view on this particular sector. The other sector that we have a bullish view is the Nifty PSU Bank Index. So that particular sector continues to do good. So if you see post the consolidation breakout, so we have seen a cup and handle type of formation breakout in this particular index, and based on the pattern size, if you add the cup to the breakout point, the target comes closer towards 8,800 on the upside. Currently, we are closer towards 8,200, 8,300 levels, and we believe from an 8 to 12 month perspective, there is a good chance that the banking index, that is the PSU bank index, will continue the positive momentum on the upside. So like we have been highlighting from the past few trading sessions, जो सबसे strongest sectors है उसी में short term momentum है currently. So the PSU bank index, metal index, auto index, and now we are seeing a bit of a rebound या short covering जो हम लोग बोलते हैं वो IT index में देखने को मिल रहा है. It's clearly a short covering bounce that we are seeing currently. It's still not showing any major indication of long built up within the long positions within the IT sector. जो शॉर्ट पोजीशंस बने थे, मतलब काफी शॉर्ट पोजीशंस बने थे निफ्टी आईटी में, those are getting covered to a large extent over the last few trading sessions. So Nifty, if you see, has managed to come back into the positive territory, means it's absolutely flat from an intraday perspective. That's also a very good recovery post the initial momentum that we saw. We have come to 25,560 levels. Clearly, there has been a decent pullback within the market. If you see the 5-minute chart, you will get a very good understanding. 5-minute chart of Nifty index today. So you can clearly see post the double bottom formation at the mark of 25,460, 470 levels. Udhar se we have witnessed a pullback of nearly 80 points on the upside, 80 to 90 points on the upside. So that's clearly a positive signal for the market that there is buying interest at the lower levels, and hopefully we are able to continue the momentum on the upside. Just a quick look at the dollar index and Brent crude prices. So the dollar index, if you see, generally it tends to have an inverse correlationship with the emerging markets, and the dollar index has been on a strong move over the last few trading sessions, but it is finding a bit of resistance closer towards its 200-day EMA on the daily time frame. So that's where the resistance is for the dollar index, and any breakout above that particular zone, we could see a further extension or positive move on the upside. So there is a question regarding India VIX. So just let's quickly take India VIX as well. So India VIX, if you see, has gradually been moving on the upside. There is nothing major to write about. See, 12 is still a level which is still significantly below its mean average. If you take from a longer term perspective, volatility generally tends to spike when India VIX is in the range between 18 to 22 would be a major zone to watch out for. Above that is definitely sharp zones itself, but current levels is nothing major to write about. India VIX between 12 to 14, 15 levels is still close to its longer term average itself. To a large extent, India VIX, the volatility has subsided on the downside. So we have seen, even though the VIX is down, the markets have witnessed a gradual pullback on the upside, and Nifty is currently trading just about 600 points away from its lifetime high. So currently we are at 25,550 600 levels, और निफ्टी का जो ऑल टाइम हाई है दैट इज 26,277 जो लास्ट सितंबर में इंडेक्स ने मारा था. So if you take those levels into consideration, we are about 600 to 700 points away. So there is no major activity which is happening in the market. जो भी है फोकस है वो earnings numbers पे है. जो current result season underway, that is the main focus for the market at the current juncture. The VIX also to a small extent, which we are seeing also this pullback, जो 9-10 के level से अभी 12-12.5 तक जो आया है, it is mainly to do with the large election outcome of the major state of Bihar. So generally, when there are state elections, major central elections, we tend to see a spike in volatility. But VIX, whenever there is major central elections, VIX tends to spike almost between 24 to 30 levels. अगर previous historical result, I mean, if you take the election times, that is even during, you can clearly see, we had seen that's about the start of 2024 when we had the general elections. We had seen the VIX spike up all the way towards 30-32 levels. So that is the type of volatility which comes about. Even if you take 5 years back, 2019, when if you take the weekly chart, it will be much better to understand what I'm trying to convey. So you can clearly see 2019 में भी जब भी general elections आए थे, that time also we had seen VIX spike up closer towards the mark of 29-30. So that's what I'm saying. Whenever there is major elections, that is central elections, we see VIX go up closer towards 25 to 30 range. We had seen only during COVID that the VIX had shot up almost to 86, 88 levels. That is because there was extreme panic at that particular time. किसी को मालूम नहीं था कि अगले दिन क्या होने वाला है, and the markets also were in total uncertainty at that point of time. So that's the type of volatility we were seeing on a daily basis. हम लोग देख रहे थे कि निफ्टी में 400 से 500 पॉइंट का मूवमेंट हो रहा था. So those were really good times if you were an investor, but that is extreme panic that was there in the market. Now you can clearly see that we are nowhere close to any major volatility. We are just at about 14, I mean 12 and a half, and major volatility tends to spike up only once we have crossed the mark of 18-20 levels on the upside. Yeah, that's it for today's session. Now we could start with the Q&A. So any of our friends, if you have any stock specific queries, please feel free to ask your questions. See, bond yield and interest rates have an inverse correlationship. So the last Fed meeting which took place, that they sounded a bit more cautious regarding the rate cuts. So that's why now there has been a bit of a pause going forward. So the yields tend to be inversely correlated with the interest rates in the US markets as well. And that's the main reason for the slight correction in the US bond prices. So if you take BHEL, so BHEL, let's go on to the daily time frame. तो अगर BHL में देखा जाए तो स्टॉक ने काफी अच्छा ब्रेकआउट दिया है रिजल्ट्स आने के बाद. देयर वाज अ स्लाइट बिट ऑफ प्रॉफिट बुकिंग व्हिच केम अबाउट, बट उसके बाद लगातार 3 कंटिन्यू ट्रेडिंग सेशन से स्टॉक वी हैव सीन अ शार्प रैली इन द पर्टिकुलर काउंटर, एंड वी हैव अ पॉजिटिव व्यू that till the time the breakout zone of 266 268 holds, we could see the momentum continue on the upside, and we could see the momentum go towards 296 298 levels from a short to medium term perspective. तो अगर आपका पोजीशन है then you could definitely trail it and continue holding on from a short to medium term perspective, because the results have come really well for the counter. And like I mentioned, the first resistance mark on the upside would be closer towards 296 298 levels. So we'll take the other counter, KEC International. So KEC International, you can clearly see that post its the breakdown that happened 3 to 4 trading sessions back, there has been extensive selling pressure which has come about. तो अगर आपका position है, it would be better to consider. Now it is at 743, but better to trail the position with a stop loss. So if there is any breakdown below the mark of 713 711, it is better to consider exiting the position rather than continuing to holding on to it, because there is definitely selling pressure. So any pullback also you get towards your entry price or closer towards 810 820 levels, those would be levels to consider reducing their position, because until there is any major breakout above the mark of 840, there will not be any major trend reversal in the counter. 840, because the major averages are also in that particular zone, and in only a close above, decisive close above its 200-day moving average would indicate any major pullback in the counter. So KC can definitely be avoided from a short to medium term perspective. The other counter is defense stocks. So defense जो sector है, that is it's clearly underperforming at the current juncture. So even if you see the defense index, we have witnessed a bit of pullback which has come about. But if you see the overall trend, Nifty defense had been into a sideways consolidation right from 18th of September. Still today we are witnessing a decent amount of momentum. So let's just take individual stocks from the defense and see whether there is momentum building up over there. So HAL and HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics. So Hindustan Aeronautics has a very high weightage within the defense space as well. So you can clearly see the stock had tested its 200-day exponential moving average daily time frame, and from there we have witnessed a decent bounce. So if you want to build a position, you can consider there is a chance that the stock could take out its recent swing high and move towards 4,970 4,980 levels from a short term perspective. And immediate support जो रहेगा वो कल का low ही है, that's a bit far away, but that's the major support zone, that is 4640 level. तो जब तक स्टॉक 4640 के ऊपर है, we believe that the stock can witness a positive traction and ultimately move towards the mark of 5040 levels. So garden reach research. So even this particular counter is witnessing a bit of consolidation breakout जो हम लोग को देखने को मिल रहा है. So there is momentum which has built up over here as well. So these are all very fast and volatile counters. जो defense के counters है, they generally tend to have momentum for a day or so, and then it generally tends to fizzle out most of the occasions. So it's a momentum play. Better to trade it with a trailing stop loss rather than building up major positions, because from a long term perspective it's definitely good, but if you take into consideration why there has been a bit of momentum, reasons generally whenever there is war or any time major accident, like we had the tragic incident yesterday as well. So those are the times when the particular sector comes into a bit of flavor. So if you take Yatarath Hospital and Trauma Care Services, this stock trend is definitely on the positive side. Most of the hospital stocks have witnessed a decent move over the course of the last few trading sessions. For this particular stock, the previous swing low would be the major support zone, that is the levels of 730, 740. तो जब तक स्टॉक 730, 740 के ऊपर है, we believe that the momentum is expected to continue, and any close that the stock makes above 810, 824 levels, we could see a fresh swing high. तो जो हम लोग टेक्निकल एनालिसिस में कहते हैं lower top, lower bottom, higher top, higher bottom. So currently the stock is trading in a higher top, higher bottom chart structure, wherein you can clearly see that the stock right from the mark of 24th of June, stock is been trading in a higher top, higher bottom chart structure. And till the time the structure is not defeated, we believe that the momentum should continue on the upside. So Canara Bank or Bank of Baroda, see clearly we have been telling multiple times that PSU banking stocks are expected to do well from a medium to longer term perspective. See trading के लिए it's a different thing. You have to trade the counters which are in momentum. But from a structural change in perspective, if you see PSU banking stocks are expected to do good, especially especially in the second half of this financial year जो हम लोग कह रहे हैं, आरबीआई के जो भी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसीज आए हैं, दे हैव ऑल बीन पॉजिटिव टुवर्ड्स द बैंकिंग सेक्टर फ्रॉम अ स्लाइटली लॉन्गर टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव. सो H2 जो हम लोग कहते हैं ये फाइनेंशियल ईयर का, वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग Q3 एंड Q4 टू बी एक्सट्रीमली स्ट्रॉन्ग फॉर द बैंकिंग स्पेस, एंड दैट्स वेयर द रियल मोमेंटम इज. बैंक निफ्टी का चार्ट भी अगर देखा जाए एंड पीएसयू बैंक इंडेक्स का भी, both the indices have already hit a fresh lifetime high. भले ही निफ्टी में बैंक निफ्टी में आईसीआईसीआई बैंक और एचडीएफसी के प्रॉफिट बुकिंग के कारण थोड़ा कंसोलिडेशन देखने को मिल रहा है, बट ओवरऑल द ट्रैजेक्टरी कंटिन्यूज टू रिमेन एक्सट्रीमली पॉजिटिव फॉर द बैंकिंग स्पेस. So both the stocks, that is BOB and Canara Bank, if you have a 6 to 8 month view on the stock, please do continue holding the counters. We definitely expect positive momentum over here as well. See, between IOC and MRPL is the more volatile stock if you take into consideration. But the chart structure for both of them is relatively similar. both the stocks have witnessed a very sharp rally over the course of the last few trading sessions. Oil marketing companies in general are witnessing positive trajectory, and IOC as well. We expect further momentum both in MRPL and in IOC. From a short term perspective, this is one sector which is outperforming. So IOC specifically, we expect the stock to move to 178 181 levels from a near term perspective. So post the sharp rally that we have seen, the stock is in a bit of consolidation last 3-4 trading sessions, but overall the stock can move towards the mark of 178 181 from a short to medium term perspective. And from a slightly medium term perspective, till the time, see, the stock is volatile, so the 20-day moving average can be made use of a trailing stop loss, the mark of 161 163. So till the time the stock is above 161, we expect the overall momentum to continue on the positive side. So there is a question regarding 3M India. तो 3M इंडिया का अगर देखा जाए, रिजल्ट्स के बाद एक्सट्रीमली स्ट्रॉन्ग रिजल्ट अर्निंग्स नंबर्स आए थे, और उसके बाद स्टॉक ऑलमोस्ट had rallied by almost 18 to 16% in one trading session itself, जो 4th नवंबर को था. Generally, these type of patterns are followed by an extreme phase of consolidation, because the stock almost 22 से 23% से ज़्यादा भाग चुका है लास्ट 4-5 ट्रेडिंग सेशंस के अंदर ही. And post that, the counter is witnessing a bit of consolidation, but view positive side पे ही है. अगर वीकली चार्ट भी देखा जाए, एक्सट्रीमली स्ट्रॉन्ग मोमेंटम देखने को मिला था. लास्ट वीक द स्टॉक वाज अप 20%, एंड इन दिस वीक वी हैव सीन अ बिट ऑफ कंसोलिडेशन. तो चांस है कि स्टॉक इसी रेंज में एक थोड़े और वीक रह सकता है, बट एनी मेजर ब्रेकआउट विच कम्स, सी प्रीवियस टाइम ऑल्सो द रेजिस्टेंस इज क्लोजर टुवर्ड्स 37,050 लेवल. तो कभी भी 37,100 37,050 ये लेवल पार हो जाता है, देन देयर इज अ गुड चांस that the stock could hit the mark of 40,500 from a longer term perspective, क्योंकि वही वीकली टाइम फ्रेम पर नेक्स्ट मेजर रेजिस्टेंस है. सी द फर्स्ट रेजिस्टेंस is the mark of 37,300 to 37,500, and once that is taken out, the next logical resistance on the upside is the mark of 40,500. So Bharat Electronics, if you see the overall chart structure, it is definitely on the positive side. तो आज BL में भी अच्छा खासा मूव देखने को मिल रहा है, but the thing is, it's in a bit of a consolidation phase, and post that we are expecting a breakout on the upside. तो multiple times ये particular zone के अंदर ही the stock has faced resistance. So if the stock is able to sustain now in the current move above the mark of 437, then we expect a fresh move in the stock towards 450 to 456 levels. So this is the major level, and once we get a confirmed breakout, it is almost like a cup and handle type breakout on the chart. So 360, and so almost post a breakout above 437 440, we could expect the stock to move by 35 to 40 points on the upside. On the downside, the main support zone from a short term perspective is the mark of 404 406 levels. Now coming to the share price of Ether. So Ether is a recently listed stock. The results have been coming relatively decent for the counter, and if you take a longer term perspective for Ether, it's a stock which is expected to do relatively well. It's volatile in nature. 790 जाने के बाद there has been a sharp correction towards 570 in just about 8 to 10 trading sessions. But nonetheless, the major trend continues to remain positive. तो अगर आप शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडर है, टिल द टाइम द स्टॉक इज ट्रेडिंग अबाउट द मार्क ऑफ 605 on a closing basis, that is, we expect the overall trajectory to continue positively. And once again, on the upside, the major resistance, short term resistance, is 710, 713 levels. So if the stock gives a closing above 710, 713, we expect the stock to once again move towards fresh lifetime highs on the upside. So Jyoti CNC, if you see this sector is in a bit of flavor currently. Post its earning numbers that came about, थोड़ा positive momentum देखने को मिल रहा है काउंटर में. Overall, it has been in a long phase of consolidation. So it has relatively witnessed a sharp correction. Almost from 1,300, we had come to 800 levels, and almost over the last almost 3 to 4 months, the stock is absolutely sideways, but now we could expect a move towards the 1,020, 1,040. Currently the stock is at 960, so almost from here also we could expect further 60 to 70 points on the upside, and that's where the stock could face a bit of resistance closer towards the mark of 1,030, 1,040 levels short term. The major support zone for the stock would be the prior day low itself, वो काफी दूर है. That's because today the stock is almost up 6.5%. So even the day low for the counter is a decent support zone. So if you see Kanpur Plasti Pack Limited, ये stock absolutely range bound है. So it's a wait and watch in this particular counter. अगर आपको ट्रेडिंग पर्सपेक्टिव से पोजीशन बनाने हैं, it's better to wait and let the stock give a decent move about 228 to 30 levels. That's because the stock has not been able to sustain about this on any in the last few trading sessions. तो अगर आपका पोजीशन है, you can definitely continue holding it. जो मेन सपोर्ट जोन है वो 200 डे मूविंग एवरेज है, दैट इज 185, 186 levels. Until the time it is above this, we can expect the momentum to relatively be positive, but we require a breakout to come about in the stock, and that is the mark of 230 to 32 levels. Moving on to Infosys. तो इन्फोसिस में मेनली इट इज ड्रिवन बाय द न्यूज़ रिगार्डिंग द शेयर बायबैक. तो जब तक ये कंप्लीट नहीं होता शेयर बायबैक का, तब तक देर विल बी मोमेंटम इन दिस पर्टिकुलर काउंटर. तो शॉर्ट टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव से अगर देखा जाए 1,500 एंड नाउ द स्टॉक इज एट 1,523 लेवल. We could expect a move towards 1,560, 1,580 levels from a short term perspective. That's where the resistance is for the stock, and even this particular zone is a bit of a resistance zone. So post the expiry today, we will have to see whether the stock is able to decisively move above 1,550 level, because there is a lot of call option writing also at the higher levels in most of the IT counters. So if there is further momentum, then further we will see short covering rally. जो लास्ट 3 दिन से हम लोग देख रहे हैं आईटी इंडेक्स में, that particular rally could continue on the upside further also. हिटाची एनर्जी आपके अगर पोजीशंस आपको अगर बनाना है, यू कैन डेफिनेटली कंसिडर इट ट्रेडिंग पर्सपेक्टिव से, दैट इज बट इट्स अ वेरी वॉलेटाइल काउंटर. तो आपको 3.5-4% का स्टॉप लॉस मेंटेन करना पड़ेगा स्टॉक में. प्रीवियस डेज लो इज जनरली अ गुड स्टॉप लॉस लेवल. करंटली 20,720, 780 जो लेवल है वो अच्छा सपोर्ट जोन है. Until the time it is above that, we could expect the stock to continue to maintain its positive momentum on the upside. सो द काउंटर ऑफ बसंत एग्रोटेक ये सिर्फ बीएसई ओनली लिस्टेड स्टॉक है. इट्स रिलेटिवली स्मॉल काउंटर. वॉल्यूम्स भी कम होते हैं इसमें. तो शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडिंग पर्सपेक्टिव है तो इट इज बेटर टू मेंटेन अ स्टॉप लॉस ऑफ 12.2. करंटली स्टॉक 13.3 के लेवल्स पे ट्रेड हो रहा है. बट अगर आप चार्ट स्ट्रक्चर देखोगे काफी लंबे टाइम फ्रेम से ये स्टॉक एक जोन में ही ट्रेड हो रहा है. सो if you already have a position, then you can hold it with the stop loss of 12. Fresh positions, it's better to avoid. कुछ momentum देखने को नहीं मिल रहा है. And multiple times over the course of the last 6 months, the stock has relatively underperformed in the market. Why it has underperformed means आप weekly chart भी clearly देख सकते हो. The stock has corrected from almost 26 28 levels. Currently it has become half and now it is trading at 13.5. So the previous major swing low zone, that is the mark of 12 11.8, ये एक major support zone है. So you can hold it with that, and on the upside the resistance is seen closer towards 16 16.5. So Garuda Constructions, it's a recently listed company, so we do not have a longer time frame chart structure. अगर आप weekly पे देखोगे, it's about 20 30 weeks. But overall, the company is doing relatively well. So from a fundamental perspective, longer term perspective, it is better to continue holding on to the stock. There is decent momentum today. We have seen post the result, the stock witnessed a sharp rally, and now we are witnessing a bit of profit booking. Stock moved from about 200 to 250 लेवल्स एंड उसके बाद लास्ट 3 ट्रेडिंग सेशंस में थोड़ा प्रॉफिट बुकिंग देखने को मिल रहा है. बट ओवरऑल द स्टॉक ऑफ गरुड़ा कंस्ट्रक्शंस इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू डू वेल एंड वी इफ यू हैव अ पोजीशन यू कैन कंटिन्यू होल्डिंग ऑन टू द काउंटर. अगर आपका ट्रेडिंग पोजीशन है देन इट्स दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग. इट्स बेटर टू ट्रेड इट विद फिक्स्ड स्टॉप लॉसेस. Lenscart is just a listed company. The main trigger for it will be the results going forward. It's not even a day since the company has been listed. Yesterday was the first listing day. Everyone knows that the company has been listed at high valuations. So even though post the listing as well, there has not been any major follow-up buying. So if you see the stock Lenscart today, there is a bit of momentum, but overall post its listing, you could better wait for the counter to go through 1 or 2 quarters of its earnings numbers, and better to wait out for the stock rather than buying it at extremely high levels. In terms of valuation, it's a bit on the higher side. Trading and all, that's a different thing. In trading, it's better to maintain fixed stop loss of 3.5 4% and trade the counter. Yeah, that's a wrap of today's edition of the mid market webinar. Thank you so much to all our friends for having taken the time out and having attended the session today. So we can just take to last question. There is a question regarding Geo Finance and IDFC First Bank. See, Geo Finance, if you see, the stock is facing a bit of, you could say, consolidation, and it's not a trend line जो हम लोग बोलते हैं technical terms में. The stock is facing a bit of resistance closer towards the mark of 300 and 308 310 levels. So only a decisive breakout above that particular mark, we could see a fresh rally in the counter. Till the time it is expected to be relatively sideways. And if you already have a position, then definitely it's better to maintain a stop loss of 290 to 293 levels. And the last question that we'll take today is regarding IDFC First Bank. So banking counters, like I mentioned, even IDFC First Bank is doing relatively well. So post the, if you see, if any we witness any breakout above the mark of 82 83 levels, we expect the stock to move towards the mark of, say, let's take the weekly time frame and check out. So you can clearly see there is a bit of resistance in this particular zone. The breakout above 83 could take the stock towards 9600 levels on the upside. But overall, the trajectory for most of the banking counters is positive, and these stocks are expected to do good in the next 6 months time frame. So if you have a bit of time frame, holding time frame, you can continue holding on to the banking counters. That's a wrap of today's edition of the mid market session. Thanks to all our friends. जो भी क्वेश्चंस आज बचे हैं, मैं कल के सेशन में आई विल डेफिनेटली टेक इट अप with all of you. Thank you so much for having taken the time out and having attended today's session. Thank you to all our friends.